great posture, nice straight back, spine angles going up to 1 o'clock. Go from her shoulders right down to her toes. Looks pretty good there. Let's draw in the swing plane. We'll do it a different color just to break things up a little bit. Let's bring that swing plane in. That's a little bit below the swing plane, but not bad. Let's draw a little circle where her head goes. See if she stays nice and steady. Now we're going to watch the turn here. Club is staying, look at that, it's perfect, staying on or slightly above the swing plane line. Goes up to the top, little lift there. And again, overswinging. There's the lift. That's the cause of the overswing. Right there. Going too far. Trying to get too much angle. So then she comes back down a little over the top of the swing. Squats nicely into the shot. Gets good arm extension. Hits a pretty solid ball. And through it. Again, we're going to reduce the amount of the backswing. What we're going to see with this swing is a lifting action and a rising up of the spine. Let's draw the spine from the ear through the hips, and then we'll go ahead and put a different color down and pop in the swing plane here from the ball up through the hands. And you're going to see the club kind of lifting straight up on the backswing. See how he lifts it? And his head pops up at the same time. Notice that? Can you see that right there? We've got to keep the head down. In order to do that, we're going to have him stand a little bit taller, put a little bit more knee flex in. He's pulling the club way back to the inside, real flat. It's got nowhere to go now but up and over the top. See if he does that. Too much backswing, and there's the over the top move. See, his head is so far up from where it was that now he's swinging down at a pretty steep plane. If we take a look at this plane right now, coming down to that golf ball, that's pretty steep. That's going to be hard. He's actually going to go, and then he cuts way to the left. So we're going to work on his swing plane and see if we can get it a little more level and a little more upright. Very classic setup here. Flexing the knees. You can see very clearly that the hips are pointed down towards the golf ball. Very nice setup right there. We'd like all of our golfers to emulate that. Hands in a good position. Maybe I'd like to see the right hand a little bit more on top of the club, but it's not bad at all. Let's go ahead and draw the swing plane in. Let's see what goes on here. Nice takeaway right on the plane. A little bit of lifting there. Lost her spine angle. Excuse me. We'd like to see the elbow more pointing down towards the hip here. If you look, the elbow's pointing out that way. We need it to be pointing at that hip right there. So we're going to turn into the shot now. Drops the hands down nicely into the plane. Good leg action, turns into the shot very well. Let's just work on that right elbow position. Here we got a golfer with absolutely flat hips. Remember on the previous golfer we showed that the hips were pointing down that line right here. These are just going straight out. We've got to get those hips down. That means you push back on the hips. You don't bend at the waist. Push back on the hips. Get that pelvis down towards the ground a little bit. So let's go ahead and set up our swing line here, our swing plane. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. Get that back down to the regular size. Go ahead and set up our swing plane. We'll go ahead and draw the spine angle in a different color. Get a good view of that, what's going on. Go from the hip right up to the ear. About 90 degrees to the swing plane. Not a lot of lifting going on, but a big over-the-top move. Big over-the-top move right there. Seems to be a common thread among most of the golfers that the club gets way outside the hands and swings hard to the left. There's absolutely no hip action, no leg action at all. Very stiff swing. Need to get a little more dynamic use of those legs. All we're missing with this golfer are earmuffs. The legs are a little straight. Appears that the hips are bent down. It's really hard to tell at this angle and with this many clothes on. I'd like to see the toes, the knees closer to the toes, so that the knees have a little bit of an angle to them. We would like to see more like that, so that the knees are out over the shoe line at least, or the shoelaces. Let's go ahead and clear that away. Draw our swing plane in, and we'll see what happens. Lifting above the swing plane. I'd rather see it above than below, believe it or not. If you go above the swing plane, you have a chance to route the club down under. She's staying pretty much above it all the way through. But good hip action here. See that, how the hips turn into the shot. Turn the club over nicely. Pretty good rotation. Show me the spikes on that foot, and you'll have a much better swing. We have here a golfer that's pretty right side dominant. That's why the right shoulder is so much more towards the golf ball than the left shoulder. So her feet are on one line and her shoulders are a little bit left of that. Let's go ahead and draw the swing plane in. Athletic setup, good posture. We just need to get the left arm a little higher than the right arm. Let's watch the takeaway now. So what happens is as she goes back, she tries to get those shoulders back square. Here's where they're square to the target line, but now the club is drifting way back inside the swing plane. Nice shoulder angle there. Now she's gotten way too far, flying that right elbow way out here like that. We need to have that right elbow pointing down to that right hip. This is a position of lack of power and over backswinging. So we're going to reduce that a little bit over the next few practice sessions. Try to get that right elbow down. Let's continue on through to the finish. She's driving the right elbow down now. Now she's got the right elbow in a pretty good place, but unfortunately it's too late. The hands are already well above the swing plane. Comes around, very athletic swing. I think if we can just get her to get into that waiter position with the right elbow down towards the right hip, you're going to see an immense improvement in the golf swing and the results. You can tell it was a cold morning out of Sunnybreeze. A lot of long pants and heavy jackets. Let's watch the initial part of the takeaway after I draw the swing plane in. Looks to me like she's going to be set up to take that club way to the inside on the way back. Let's see what happens. Yeah, there goes the club up, and she's lifting. See how much she lifted there? And again, that's because we're not driving that left shoulder down the toe line. We're swinging it out to almost level with the ground. We got to have that shoulder pointing down towards the ball. There's your big lift. Now she's standing straight up, lost all of her spine angle. She's going to come down. She's doing a pretty good job of coming back down to it. Doesn't quite get down below the swing plane. But notice she's got a lot more leg flex here than she did at setup. Turns into the shot pretty good. Very strong, talented person. If we can just get a little bit more stability in the swing, I think you're going to see some great results.